CouchPotatoGM.com is the website. Couch Potato General Manager is the YouTube channel. You know it because you own it. Now pause. I figured it out, y'all. Figured it out, man. Hit that subscribe button and then hit the little bell, man. Right now it doesn't have the little parentheses or whatever you want to call it around the bell. I need you to hit it. It's gonna light up with the. It's gonna be beautiful, man. I promise you. That way you know when we drop another video, whether it be fantasy, draft, or whatever we drop it, man. You know it's there, man. Hit you with the email, YouTube notification, right? Right. We talking. Who we talking?
The LA Rams. Hashtag Rams tough.
That's it.
I just made that up top of my head. I've seen it before.
Okay.
Hashtag Rams.
Well, let us know what the hashtag is. Every team has their own little hashtag. Let us know. Put it in the comment section. Let us know so we can get that right. What we talking?
Under the siege.
Under the siege, bro. so disrespectful, bro. Rams didn't have a first-round pick, man. There was no sexy, no flash, no dash, man. What happened to that first-round pick? What did they do with it?
They went and got Brandin Cooks. They traded that first-round pick for Brandin Cooks from the New England Patriots. They lost Sammy Watkins in free agency, so Brandin Cooks give them that speed element that Sammy did last season. And you telling me that they wanted Brandin Cooks even before they got Sammy Watkins?
From Jump Street, and they couldn't get him, so they settled for Sammy, but now they got their guy, and so we're going to see how things work out, man. He's going to have a full offseason, full offseason with the Rams from the very beginning, unlike Sammy Watkins last year. And then, man, let's see if they got now they ain't got no second round.
So now they only had a third-round pick, and who they selected?
TCU offensive tackle Joe Noteboom.
Noteboom.
Yeah, he's not boom. This is a super athletic offensive tackle who played right and left tackle. I think this last 2 years, I think he played left tackle. Yeah. These are the little notes that I got on. Played both right and left tackle. Has good feet, fluid movement. Willing to mix it up. You know, obviously his struggle is his hands, man. He can't get his hands right, man. When it looks like he's just throwing his body out there, especially in the run game. You know, so he gets beat up, pushed back. It's not pretty, but you know he performs well in space and in a phone booth in terms of pass protection. But them hands, man, he's gonna get beat a lot very quickly. You know.
Well, luckily he's not going to play quickly. They still have Rob Havenstein on the right side, and on the left side they got Andrew Whitworth, who was the best free agent acquisition last season. He's still out there. He's 36 years old, and Havenstein's his last year of his contract. So Noteboom could be an eventual replacement
for either one. I can see a situation where he's playing right tackle next year, because I can't see a situation where they sign back. How do you say his name? Havenstein?
Yeah, Rob.
Okay,
Rob. Wisconsin, right?
You know. I think Noteboom just needs to follow Whitworth around. They need to put his locker right next to Whitworth and just follow that guy around.
All right, man, with their next pick, round 4, man, they went with Brian Allen, center, Michigan State, man.
Or O-line, huh?
Yeah, I mean...
Brother of Jack Allen.
Who?
The other Michigan State offensive lineman before.
How old is that? Where's he?
He just, a couple years ago. They played together over there.
Oh, they did?
I think they did. Fact check me. But Brian Allen he's a physical guy. He likes to get nasty. He's a guy that every team wants on their team or should have on their team. So, you know, he's another guy that's not going to start right away. But 2019, they're looking for to get better in the trenches for the future. And Brian Allen brings that nastiness, and, you know, the Rams want to run the football with Todd Gurley. So, you know, I can see him as a starter as early as next season. And
he played center, he played both, or he can play both left guard, right guard position. He said he's pretty comfortable doing that. Yeah, man, when you look at these 2 picks that they just had, man, neither one of these guys is obviously going to start. I mean, maybe Noteboom could be a swing tackle, maybe not. But, yeah, this is a team preparing for the future. I mean, they're well assembled, except for, I think they got one big hole, right?
Most linebackers, pass rushing, inside linebackers. They need linebackers. They address it later in the draft. We'll get to that, but you know, like you said, this team is in win now. They're in Super Bowl or bust right now because of all the guys they brought in the offseason, man. Talib, Peters, Suh. They just loads and loads of talent, man.
It appears that obviously they've based on the moves that they've made, they've kind of pushed their chips to the center of the table. They're all in, but there also seems to be one eye on the future. You know, you mentioned Noteboom, he'll play behind Havenstein and Whitworth in year one. Another free agent acquisition last year that made a difference on that offensive line, which was terrible 2 seasons ago, was John Sullivan at center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now they got Allen in to kind of, and it makes sense to me. If you're able to get guys who you think project well to the next level along the offensive line, most important position group in the NFL, and they're able to mature a little bit, play behind guys, because we're not talking about blue chippers, top 10, top 15 guys here. Yeah. You know what I mean? That makes a difference. The level of play of offensive linemen at the collegiate level has eroded over the years, a large part due to all the spread offenses, all the passes at the line of scrimmage. So you know, to get those guys out of some of those bad habits and really start to teach them actual technique as opposed to just getting in someone's face, being able to use their hands effectively and get that punch and make sure that they sink their hips and so on and so forth, they need time. These guys need time. And a lot of times what you see is guys are thrown out into the abyss because they're cheap. You're able to extend or pay the guys on the perimeter at the skill positions, but we've seen that hurt at least one other team in that particular division. So I'm not mad at what they kind of did early in this draft in terms of just kind of setting themselves up. Even though they made a lot of moves to suggest we got to win it now, they seem to understand that we still need guys in place ultimately as Jared Goff continues to develop.
With their second, 4th round pick, they went out and they got a guy. John Franklin Myers, defensive end from Stephen F. Austin. Every time I see that, I think about the NCAA tournament.
Stephen F. Austin?
Yeah.
I think it's Stone Cold.
That's what you think, right?
316.
Stone Cold starting the boys coming off the top rope.
Oh, man.
Drinking the beer?
Yeah, man. John Franklin Myers, he's projected to play 5 technique. He played all over the defensive line, small school, Stephen F. Austin. He's a physical player and has experience. Their first 3 picks, you know, all seniors. This guy played in an NFLPA game, has 82-inch wingspan, so he has the fit, the build. He just had to put on some more weight. I think he played at around 270 last season. Get up to 290, put him in that 5 technique. You know, he could be a rotational guy, but I still think they still haven't selected any linebackers, and that was their biggest need, man. What do you think about it?
I guess as far as the pick in terms of the fit, we talked about it a little off air. You know, we're talking about Suh, we're talking about Brockers, we're talking about all the contracts or players that have contracts that are expiring and who's going to get paid. They still haven't paid Aaron Donald. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, this to me again is kind of a look ahead that maybe, you know, as a 5 technique, you know, and if you think about it over the years, you know what I'm saying? Me being a Cowboys fan, I'll go to Jason Hatcher or Chris Canty. You know what I mean? Guys that weren't necessarily household names, but they projected to be solid 5 techniques playing in an odd man front. You know what I mean? They can be space eaters, you know, and they can make plays against the run, you know. So that's kind of the vein that I think he's in. And then again, to your point, he's not going to have to play right away. He'll have opportunity to continue to get stronger, put on a little extra weight, and he could be thrust into a role, maybe even a starting role as early as next year as well.
I mean, I think you said it earlier, he's versatile. He played 3 technique in college. He played defensive end, but he stood up. So, I mean, I can see a situation where this guy, he starts at 5 technique and ends up doing something else after all the transactions and who's still there and who's not there. It might end up changing his position. So maybe this is a thought process of, you know, this is where we're going to start him, but he may not ultimately end up being a 5 technique.
So you think he could be an edge rusher at some point?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah,
okay.
It depends.
They go in the other direction.
It can be. Yeah. It can be. Put on weight, play 5 technique. Lose some weight, play edge rusher.
What do you say? 82?
Yeah, wingspan.
I mean,
yeah, that length you can't teach that. You can't teach that length. So yeah.
All right, man. 5th round pick. They went out and they got Virginia linebacker Micah Kiser. I said that right?
Micah, yeah.
Okay.
I said it right.
Okay, just making sure. No.
Well, Micah Kiser, very productive linebacker, tackling machine, physical. Could be relegated to a 2-down role. Not really that great in the pass game, but I think this guy sees the field. I think he sees the field quicker than any of the other draft picks.
Just out of pure necessity.
They traded Alec Ogletree to the New York Giants. So put him next to Barron in the inside and just let this man collect tackles. I think he's going to be very productive as well.
Okay. When we watched film on him, I thought he was a little limited.
Yeah.
Physically, I thought he was a little limited, but clearly he appeared to be well coached. He was generally in the right position. I think, assuming that you can keep him clean and you limit the amount of times that he is matched up man to man in coverage against a tight end or running back, I think to your point, he can be productive. Yeah.
This is one of those situations where I think, like you said, he's limited, so you put him in a position, like you said, to just do maybe 2 or 3 things. This is at the snap of the football. This is what we want you to do and take care of. And we talk about is Wade Phillips, right, the D coordinator?
Yeah.
So it's Legos, right?
Yeah.
It's Legos. So
scheme two, based on what they played in Virginia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In terms of gap responsibilities, I think there's some similarities there. So I think from that perspective, there's going to be that learning curve won't be as steep. So he might, to your point again, that may expedite him getting on the field because they need someone inside next to Mark Barron.
And I mean he's a 5th round pick, so I always I don't want to say kill, but I'm not a fan of 2-down players. But in the 5th round,
you're okay with it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
No
particularly if you excel on those 2 downs. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now, with another 5th round pick. This guy was kind of flying up boards, and he was supposed to go in the 3rd round to, that's the highest I've seen him go is in the 3rd round, is Obo
Okoronkwo.
You said it. Linebacker, Oklahoma. And let me just explain something real quick. And I have an issue with the Big 12 and the way they handle the defensive linemen and the way they handle their linebackers. It's a damn mess. And it's hard to assess what a player is because they're either a tweener, too small, or you never really get a complete picture of what this player potential could be because he's either being misused or you have him all over the place.
Sure.
And this is one of those players where it's kind of 2 different things. He's a tweener but he's small and he's playing in the Big 12. So I think maybe if he played in the SEC, ACC, somewhere like that, he might actually be playing offense. I mean, I could be wrong, or he could be
offense.
Maybe. You never know. They might move over. I don't know. Maybe. But I think playing in the Big 12 really hurt this guy, and I would imagine, like we talked about earlier with the Legos, this guy is a Lego piece. Gonna be moved around that defense.
Well, when I watched the tape, I liked him. I thought he was undersized. Like you said, he's a little bit of a tweener, but he flashed a lot in college, man. He got around the edge. He just knew how to get to the quarterback. So I like him a lot. He's a little, like I said, he's a little undersized, but he gets after the quarterback. He could get you outside. He can do the little crossover move, come inside. So let me ask you. Yeah.
Why he went in the 5th round?
Undersized.
Because he's smaller. It's because he's smaller. I agree with Henry. I got an opportunity to see Okoronkwo up close at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he was out there
this year,
dominating.
and I mean, whether it was individual drills or what have you, Hadley mentioned it. He can get around the edge. He has a move to the inside to kind of, get the tackle off balance. He can turn speed into power. You know what I mean? And he closes quickly, and he's got bad intentions as well. And you think about it. At this point, I don't care what the pass rusher looks like. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're an accomplished pass rusher, I need you to get to the quarterback. This guy's not going to play every down. He's not going to play every down. At least not early in his career.
So he's a designated pass rusher.
He's a designated pass rusher. When it's 2nd and 15 because it was a false start or whatever the case may be, 3rd and long, he's going to be on the field. He's going to be in the motorcycle stance and he's coming off the edge. And they need that.
Yes, it's a big need for them. I'm going to call him Obi. Call him Obi. I said that when I watched this tape, I'm like, he's a top 50 player if it wasn't for his size. If he had the length and the size that teams coveted.
The measurables, The
measurables, I thought he was a top 50 player, just the tape I watched.
So him coming out, you're going to put him in the best position possible. He's in the 5th round. He's a smaller guy. And like you said earlier, 2nd and 15, 3rd and long, whatever. Put him out on the edge. Let him run right past whoever the tackle is, and he's gonna do work. Yeah. And he's coming out. He's fresh. This is the best situation for him because of his size. Until he learns how to.
You have to have a plan for a guy like that. Yeah. And again, we've mentioned it a couple of times. There's necessity there. That second level. Where is the pass rush coming from outside of Aaron Donald, who again does not have a contract, isn't going to be very happy. I don't think that's going to affect his play, but certainly he's not at the mini camps. Who knows if he'll show up to training camp? Suh, you got the interior push.
Yeah.
Where's your edge rush going to come from? I think Okoronkwo is going to have a role. It'll be a very specific role, but I think he can excel. I think he can excel at it.
You know what? Now that you just said that, I'm starting to get the feeling that the Rams are starting to assemble their team as if they're the Patriots, and by this I mean everybody has a specific role, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just you need stars somewhere on that team.
That's a great point,
stars everywhere.
Because they do have stars everywhere, but
expiring contracts.
And the Patriots, right or wrong, they have a tendency to let guys walk or trade guys away. You know what I mean? I'm not letting Aaron Donald get out the door. I'm not. Yeah. I'm personally not. But in terms of what McVay and Les Snead and Wade Phillips have in mind, I don't know what the plan is. I honestly don't. They may, to your point, they may be. We're identifying specific guys to fill certain roles, and if they do those roles well, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We got the young wonderkin of a head coach, and we got studs on offense. You know what I mean? We got a system defensively, a proven system. You do need proven commodities, though. You know what I'm saying? And that could they could look like geniuses at one point, and then it could rear its ugly head. Not unlike with the Patriots. What do we talk about with New England this past year? They didn't have guys who could get to the passer. You know what I'm saying? And it came back to bite them. So I'm not sure exactly what that whole contract situation is like, but certainly. At this point in the draft, when you're selecting guys who may have limitations, whether it be athletically, whether it may be size to hold up, down in and down out, you find guys who do certain things, particularly if it's in terms of getting to the passer, there's going to be a spot for those guys.
Definitely.
All right, man. With their 6th round pick, the Rams went out and got a running back that I liked, and when I turned on the film, I really wasn't sure what I was going to see.
I don't even think "like" is the right word. He was top 5 for both of you, was he not?
Yeah, he was, and also, he was a prospect of the week. Did I do it or you did it?
I did the John Kelly one, yeah.
Okay, I think I did. No, you did it. Running back from Tennessee, man, and whoa. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, man. Since you did it,
we love him.
Yeah,
we love John Kelly, man. It's just tough, hard nosed. One of the meanest stiff arms you're gonna see. YouTube John Kelly stiff arm.
Greg Jones?
It's not Greg Jones, but
you get YouTube that one.
YouTube that one too.
That's the best stiff arm of all time.
I was gonna say North Carolina. Greg Jones stiff arm, North Carolina, man.
But what makes him so great, man? He's a dual threat back. Let's give some background on him. He was behind Alvin Kamara in Tennessee and Jalen Hurd. So he didn't really get on the field until this season as a starter, and he dominated. Put on that tape against the Gators, and that's the best.
Bro. What was happening? The Gators? Bro, you got all the SEC teams. You picked the Gators, bro.
Look at his tape versus the Gators, and that's the best running back tape you might see all of last season. He dominated the Gators through the air, on the ground, and it's just his patience, his feet through the hole. It's just like you said, he was a top 5 running back for both of us. But going to the LA Rams with Todd Gurley already there. Yeah. How often is he going to see the field?
He's, for me, the most balanced running back in this draft was Royce Freeman. This is number 2 right here. Headley done said it all, man. I mean,
ideally Todd Gurley doesn't come off the field, but in the event, you need to spell him for maybe 5-6 carries or so, and in terms of John Kelly's skill set, he can also catch the ball out of the backfield. You're not losing anything in that vein per se. You know what I mean? So I think it's a value pick, and I think what this draft has shown me to this point is that they just stuck to their board. You know what I mean? It may not necessarily suggest their board may not align with our conventional wisdom or whatever, or conventional wisdom in general, but they had certain needs that they didn't necessarily reach for. They kind of took players at the value that they felt they were at. And I think at this point, John Kelly is amazing value.
Oh, yeah,
he's amazing value. So even though you got Gurley, you got a beast, a thoroughbred in your backfield, like you can't pass up John Kelly.
I would love to see John Kelly on another team just to be
for the opportunity.
I love John Kelly, but the Lance Dunbar experiment failed. Malcolm Brown was your number 2 running back, so
that's an upgrade.
You've upgraded. Definitely upgrade.
And the thing about John Kelly, I think why he fell to the 6th round is he's not what do you call it, sparky. Yeah. He's not sparky. He just You ask him to do something, and he does it, and it's job well done.
Yeah.
You know?
He has the stuff that you can't teach, man. There's a I don't know what we need to find a name for it or whatever the case may be. I don't know if it's the vision. I don't know if vision is appropriate.
Yeah, they don't know that. Tell them what vision is, man.
We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna give him the sauce just yet. But at any rate, there's intangibles associated with that particular position. Absolutely. Stuff that doesn't show up on any kind of test, athletic testing, whatever the case may be. But when you see it on tape, you're like, okay, he's a little bit different from see hole, run through hole. He's a little bit different. There's a lean, there's an edge to the way they run, and frankly, those guys tend to be a lot faster in pads than they are when they're running a 40-yard dash. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he fits that mold. And like I said, I think just in terms of their draft board and the value they got for him, it's hard to argue with this selection.
And last thing on, because I like John Kelly. A lot of offenses are built around maybe a player or two, or just a player. Obviously Aaron Rodgers for the Packers and Tom Brady for the Patriots, and for this particular team, it's not Goff, it's Todd Gurley. Whether it be through the screen game or the little short swing passes, whatever it is, it's all built. Let's say Gurley gets hurt, can Kelly carry that?
Yeah.
Because he's not as explosive as Gurley, he is as like I call it, sexy as Gurley. Can Kelly do that?
I think so. I think he can be effective. I think he has a skill set. I think we're all in agreement that he has a skill set to be effective. He may not be offensive player of the year good, but John Kelly, in a pinch, that's not a bad option. That's what you're going to out of your bullpen. That's not a bad option at all.
Pain is in the